Hi, we're Blake and Brittany, and we are on top of a mountain.
Yes, this is a venue called Monte Sol. So if you're in the Loja region, you should definitely come and visit. It is quite a destination. Amazing food, incredible views of the whole valley.
Everything, yeah.
All the way to Peru, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
It's amazing.
So
amazing place.
Love this place. And we are going to talk to you today about some things that were hard to leave behind when we moved our family to Ecuador. And I do think this is different than things that we miss, which may not have been anticipated. This was more like
things we knew we
knew we were leaving, and we were sad about things we appreciated about our life in the United States. And it was like, oh, bummer. So
bummer.
What are some of those things, and what have the ramifications been? So
number one, babysitting.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So it's not that we don't have like people we trust here to watch our kids. That's just not a thing here because everyone has big families and everyone lives with their families and everyone has built-in babysitting. But the concept is very foreign unless it's like a grand emergency. It's not really something that's happened here, right? Because everyone just has family. And so since we don't, we rely on, trying to find a friend or another family, right, who can watch our kids for some purpose, for some reason.
When you have 4 kids, that's a lot to ask of someone in any context.
Yes.
So, and we do have lots of, friends who graciously help us out. But it's definitely not as convenient as it was having grandparents. Thank you, grandparents, for, watching the kids or aunties and uncles. So that's something we knew we were choosing to walk away from. So we have no one to blame except ourselves for that reality. So
yes. And granted, our kids now are of an age where our oldest can kind of keep tabs on the youngers and stuff like that. But still, it's just not obviously as nice or convenient or as easy as having family in particular, right? To step in and help. So
moving with your family is, maybe a more ideal way of doing it. So bring the grandparents with you.
Yes. But okay.
We did know we were leaving that though, and that made us sad, and it still makes us sad. All right, number 2, libraries. We've talked a lot about book access here and how there really isn't much book access, particularly in English, which is all of us, 5 out of the 6 of us prefer to read in English still to Spanish. So we have Kindles, which is amazing, but we really loved going to the library. That's a special thing to be able to do. And it's just not a thing here, not in all part of Ecuador, not in most parts of Ecuador. So,
yeah. But what I just saw this week, though, in the news, there was a book festival, right?
Yeah.
And so I am hopeful that there is an encouraging change where there's more emphasis on reading. And there are a few private libraries and stuff like that. People are
nonprofits,
that kind of thing. But there's no big, giant public libraries where you go and, get a library card and you can rent out
and just browse and have the resources libraries offer. And there are several, a couple particular bookshops in Loja that we do patron. But those are bookshops where you make purchases and it's, it's not the same as a library, of course, although they're wonderful and we support them. So miss the library system.
Miss the libraries.
Number 3.
Cruise control.
It's so funny. So I'm trying to learn how to drive a manual car. And I like to wrap my head around it before actually attempting something. So I've been reading a lot about, I don't know, how to drive manual. I learned by reading. And so, and everything starts off with, you need 500 meters of flat, wide road, free of obstacles. I'm like, literally does not exist here. Literally does not exist. Like, what a joke. None of those things is true. You don't have flat. You don't have wide. You certainly don't have free of obstacles. So.
Yeah, in the mountains, no, that does not exist.
So funny.
Yeah, maybe in the coast.
Maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Some major sections of, or some major cities. But yeah, perhaps. Cruise control.
Yeah.
So, So that does not exist.
No,
You don't set it and relax.
You're very interactive in your driving.
It's 100%. You are engaged. Especially driving a manual here, right?
Especially in the mountains.
Yeah.
You're always dodging something.
There's always something to be looking out for.
Yeah, lots of something. Which is fun, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. But we actually, to kind of jump on this too, I was just in Colombia, and in Colombia, it is a lot more free, I'll say.
In the coast, I wonder if the mountains is the same way, or I wonder if it's a mountain coast difference.
I heard Medellin was crazy too, but
okay.
Anyway, so traffic is a little more like you imagine other countries drive, right? Like there's no rules, you just kind of go. So even there, no cruise control because you're all constantly battling for position. So yeah, so driving, when we drove in the United States to go visit family, we drove a lot on, major freeway systems, major highway systems, where yes, you would set it at 70, 75 and then just cruise for hours and hours and hours, which you cannot do here. So.
Okay, number 4, free chips and salsa. And this means a lot of things. This is Blake in particular grieving the abundance of Mexican food in the American West. Southwest, but I would say American West in general, but I know you're more specific than that, being from Arizona. It's also nothing is free here. There's nothing complimentary typically at restaurants. And I think that's common throughout the world. Yeah. And it's unique to the United States. But like, there's one place that brings out tasty homemade bread as a complimentary, Mama Sylvia's.
Oh, but he's a foreigner. He's
okay,
Italian.
but it's a restaurant, a local restaurant.
Yeah.
But you pay for your drink, you pay for water even.
Yeah, free refills is not really a thing generally.
It's not a thing. No, I can't think of anywhere other than Papa John's.
Papa John's, yeah. Papa John's in Loja, you can get free refills. Funny story. We actually went there because the kids were so excited to get free
because they have like the beverage dispenser, like and what?
It was available. Yeah,
it was out of order.
The machine was broken.
It was very devastating to go there with that purpose. It was pretty funny. And we're like, well, it'll keep you from getting sick, I guess, in the car on the way home. But
yeah,
so there's just not complimentary. And like, no, I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. Like who needs baskets and baskets of chips and salsa if we're eating their Mexican meal?
I do.
And also, food is much more affordable to eat out here anyway. I don't mind paying $1 for a bottle of water. That's not a big deal.
But I do miss the actual free chips and salsa because
I know you do.
Yeah, because eating Mexican here is generally speaking much more of a treat. It's not like we have in the United States. So you go out in the restaurant is typically a little fancier or something in that regard because it's unique, right?
Yeah, it's a foreign food.
Mexican food here is very foreign, just like it is in the United States. It's not from obviously Ecuador. So, but there is a place we did find in Loja recently that is really cheap. Shouldn't have unlimited chips or anything, but anyways.
It was exciting.
It was exciting. An exciting find.
There's several great Mexican restaurants, but they're just not, I don't know, that North American stuff your face kind of, which is, it's good. It's not a bad trade, but it is a trade.
Yes.
All right. Last thing that was hard to leave behind, long summer nights. And I think I feel this one more than Blake being from the Pacific Northwest, where sometimes it doesn't get out dark until 10 o'clock at night in the summer. Now, granted, when you have small children, that is a huge pain because they think they never have to sleep.
Well, you have to buy blackout.
Yes, we discovered that. But there's that energy that comes along with it when the day just never seems to end. And the weather is mild and pleasant and it just goes on forever. And I grew up in that environment and remember really loving the summers and how you could just keep doing things all now I just like to go to bed and it doesn't matter so much. But
yes, because here in Ecuador, sun rises at 6 and sets at 6:30. Pretty
every
much,
day of the
just
year.
about every single day of the year.
Which is great in the American winter, right? In winter in the Northern Hemisphere, we're like, oh, it's still light here.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't miss.
We don't love getting home after dark. And, if you're out at someone's house for later in the evening, you're going to get home after dark no matter what time of the year it is. So there's something really special about those Pacific Northwest, like summer nights that were just glorious. And at the same time, I do also appreciate the cozy winter evenings when they just got dark and stuff. Here we just don't have seasons in the same way, and so that's something that we were leaving behind and felt sad about. And we love the consistency here, but seasons are also pretty special.
Seasons are special. Yeah.
So those are things that we left behind intentionally, knowing what we were doing, different than things that we miss that maybe took us by surprise. So let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or I don't know why you would disagree, but you hate chips and salsa.
Well, I was going to say, someone should move down here, not us, but someone else should move down here, open up a Mexican food restaurant, and then offer free chips and salsa.
Just make a chips and salsa restaurant for that matter.
No, you gotta have everything.
Okay.
But yeah, offer chips and salsa. That would be great. Because there is a place down near us where we've ordered multiple times big batches of chips for like a party.
Oh yeah, the chip bucket.
Yeah, we got a giant, literally a trash can full of chips one time.
That's pretty amazing.
For my 40th birthday.
Yeah, and we can do nachos. Well, in the really nice Mexican restaurant that we've talked about before, it's really, really delicious. And they have a very wonderful like assortment of chips and salsa. But it's like a specialty item. Yeah. And it's not like meant for a family so much. It's very tasty, but
very tasty, but
not the same.
It does not. It's not an endless supply.
We talked way more about chips and salsa than we did about the other things.
That's probably one of the biggest things I miss. That might be number one on my list.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
where can they find us?
You can always find us at our website, Average Family Abroad.
We do respond to emails. We like getting questions and
yes, thank you all who have been emailing us and asking us questions and things like that, and we're very happy to help. You can also find us on the social medias on Facebook and Instagram.
Average Family Abroad.
Average Family Abroad.
Yep.
Obviously here on YouTube. So yeah, like this video, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.